This is Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search from my site, Postmates Advanced Training, with a series of videos. I'm attempting to teach people how to do this Postmates job. I am also soliciting people to put my name down as how they found out about Postmates when they register. If they make 50 deliveries, which I'm now 43, so listeners, please, please, if you're this interested, you look back to you look in my YouTube channel to when I did beginner training. I did beginner training over a series of maybe my first 10 deliveries, 15 deliveries. You look at the date when I did that. Now I'm almost 50. 50 is a magic number for Postmates. They consider you sort of christened, sort of successful. If someone refers someone who makes 50 deliveries, then he or she who refers that successful 50 delivery person gets paid an incentive. That's what I'm seeking. I would like to help people be successful at this, help people stay with it long enough to do 50 deliveries, and maybe stay with it long enough to kidder a supplemental income for all the days of their lives. So, again, I'm soliciting for people to put my name down as a referrer. 50 deliveries. Please, this job is not NASA engineering. This job is not easy. I look at the Latinos who are delivering for pizza places like the place I was in today, Shippers, at the New York Times building, 8th Avenue between 40th and 41st on the east side of 8th Avenue, across from Port Authority. And I could be wrong that these guys aren't Mexican, but they're certainly Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala are Mexican. They're Latinos, no question about it. They're not from the Caribbean. They're not from other Central American countries, and they're not from South America. I know this from their God-given looks and their fashion. I imagine these men transitioning and adding Postmates to their gig. So when Shippers is not rushing for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you have these gaps. They could click their phone on and maybe pick up a couple of orders. So now they do whatever they're doing plus another $40 a day. These people are not strangers to work. I know some of these Mexicans are really working hard. So why give them gaps between meals? Give them some work. And I look at them and I just wish I could get them these videos. I wish I could get someone to help me translate them into Spanish. But I know the gap is big. And I'll tell you why. Just the whole tech of dealing with a phone that tells you what to do. A traditional job is really not easier. A traditional job is traditional. So, for example, I stayed home this morning. I did my receptionist work for Adam. I did some laundry, and I got the bug. I was going to go in later. I had a couple more things to do here at home, and I ended up rushing into the city. It was a disaster. I did 3 deliveries. I'm going to share my screen. I'll show the 3 deliveries. So I picked this one up. I don't know why. Here we go. I picked this one up down here. Schnippers Quality Kitchen. And for that delivery, I got $7.22 and a tip of $10.74. I then went to this juice press. This was an easy one. Made $4.68. And then I hit this one. It's just like a record player that slowed down. I was kind of kicking along. There wasn't really gaps between delivery 1 and delivery 2, and all of a sudden I hit this one. I get there fast. I rented a bike, or no, I tried to rent a bike, but all the racks were empty. But nonetheless, I got there without delay. It was pre-ordered, and they don't have 2 items. The customer is not answering her phone. So I left a message, waited. While I waited, I called fleet support. Then I waited. Then fleet support calls the customer, and I waited. And then fleet support calls me, and I can't understand him. I think he's in India. I talk with a lot of Indians. It just kills me that I couldn't understand this guy. My acoustics were really bad. The music in this place was loud. So I stepped outside, and people considering payments, please, please, please listen to what I'm about to say. He says, well, he couldn't talk to the client either. They don't have any more information than I do. They call the same number I do. And he said, well, take another hail to kale. Like, how am I going to pay for it? Your PEX card. But this is a prepaid order. There's no place to put the receipt for the PEX card. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, just take it the way it is. So, people considering Postmates, please understand what I just said. On this occasion, I actually knew more than the fleet support person. It's, of course, not impossible, but it is possible. It actually happened, but it's just an example of, he knew what I knew, but he wasn't thinking around the corner that, oh, yeah, that's right. If you buy it, then we don't have a way to charge them because they prepaid directly to Juice Press, and then we got to charge them separately, and that becomes complicated. I knew that. He overlooked it. I reminded him. He corrected himself, and I took the order as it was. Well, the great thing, the disaster in calling fleet support, and the benefit of calling fleet support is as follows. The disaster is that you have to wait for them, and they're not always fast. Today they were not fast. So that's the downside of calling fleet support. You got to wait for them, and you can't reach the client. They can't reach the client either. So now you just wasted time to find out that they can't reach the client. Well, you knew that, or in my case, I knew that. But whatever. Now fleet support's involved. He knows the situation. I've covered what's missing. And now in this case, I was able to get a bicycle, and I ride down to the Hudson River from 9th Avenue, 3 or 4 blocks along an avenue, and having the bike was a great benefit. It was also downhill. So I get there, and I said, "Are you to the client? Are you aware that the items that were missing?" Yeah, no problem. So there we go. That's what fleet support was able to do. While I was schlepping on the city bike, fleet support persisted in trying to call the customer. So by the time I got there, the customer knew what had changed in the order. So that was the third one. Again, $6.44. Who knows if I'll get a tip, but I certainly did as much as could be expected, and certainly if I do get a tip, I earned it. Now, then I leave. I'm in the lobby of this place, haven't even left the building, and I get another order, and I accept it. And then I look at the map, and it's like 4 miles away. It's at like 120 in Broadway. So I call fleet support. Obviously, it's been dispatched to me, and it shouldn't have been. They think I'm in a car, is what I am estimating, what I'm sensing. And again, so now here I am waiting on fleet support. Well, my time is running out. I'm meeting Hannah, 6-ish at Port Authority. So I just started going to Port Authority, and eventually fleet support got a hold of me, and they canceled the order. So listeners, please understand how frustrating fleet support is. I've got this order on my phone. I accepted it because sometimes they come in, accept, and details, allowing you to check it before you accept, and other time it's accept or skip. This was accept or skip. I accepted. Find out it was dispatched to me for false reasons. So, listeners, please understand when you've got an order that you've accepted on your phone and it's not yet canceled, even though you know it has to be, you are out of service. The system thinks you're busy. You're not. You've got a bogus order on your phone. So if you're trying to make a go of this, now I had surrendered. I wasn't pissed off, though I have gotten pissed off about this job many occasions. I've articulated it on many of occasions. This had the potential to piss me off, though it didn't, because I was done. I was running out of time. I thought maybe I'll get one more in, and it came quickly. And then once that effed up, I decided to skip it, and I surrendered the day. It was rainy, it was cold, and windy in New York City, so I wasn't real eager to continue working. So that was my 3 orders. Again, a huge effort for a tiny amount of money, and the net is this is still new to me. It's exciting. I rushed into the city. It was fun. But the truth is, in time, a day like today is the kind of day you don't want to have very many of. The other thing that happened today for the first time is blitz pricing. Blitz pricing. Blitz pricing. Blitz pricing. That's when in the hotel industry, when I was in college, we used to call it getting slammed, and I've heard that word used even in recent times. So 3 decades ago, we used to say we're getting slammed, meaning, we're understaffed and the flow of customers in the hotel is just too high, and we're getting slammed. I don't know how else to say it, but we're just over. We're undersupplied and over demand. We can't move enough luggage. We can't move enough cars. We can't this kind of stuff. So that's getting slammed. I think the word is still used today. So when Postmates is getting slammed, in attempt to balance this undersupply of delivery people and oversupply of orders, they go blitz pricing. So now, supposedly, the order is supposed to come down a little bit because now they're paying twice the delivery price, and the motivation for delivery people is going up because you're earning twice. And they can vary. Blitz pricing isn't always twice. Today it was 2 times, but I believe it can vary depending on how out of balance the supply demand is. So today was my first opportunity for blitz pricing. So I rushed through my laundry. I skipped these other projects I was going to do, and I go to the city, and blitz pricing is over. I was so pissed. So I'm waiting for the evening rush hour for maybe because the cold, rain, and wind is going to kick blitz pricing it again, and it didn't happen. So this job is still new to me. It's fun, exciting. I got my first opportunity for blitz pricing. I rushed to the city. It's over. Finally, the reality of a non. I'm going to return to this idea of a non-traditional job versus this thing. This is both good and bad. I changed my schedule around today, so I didn't go in with my wife, and I changed. The truth is, when you manipulate the schedule and you say you're not going to be there, it just goes into the computer, and the app just is magical. It just adjusts. That's great, right? Of course it's great. Well, it's sort of not great because nobody cares. Nobody cares if Tom Duty's in New Jersey or Tom Duty's delivering in New York. Nobody cares. You know why? Because the app doesn't care, and the app's the only one that knows where I am. The app is, adjusting to what I told it to adjust to, which is I'm not going to New York during these hours that I sort of had planned to go to New York. Nobody misses me. So there is something lacking. We missed you in a traditional social environment. Where were you yesterday? Nobody asks. It's great. Don't get me wrong. It's great. But it's also not great. Nobody cares. This has been Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search for my site. Thank you for listening. Have a good day, good evening, or restful night's sleep. Ciao.